Okay. And go. Okay, we are live. Welcome to
We did
another.
it.
Yeah. After a lot of technical difficulties, we finally made it. Streaming on the airwaves. Once again on the SRA YouTube channel as well as my own YouTube channel. Of course, SportsVibe. We have a busy episode once again. Selection Sunday is tomorrow, so a lot of March Madness bracketology to talk about. The conference tournaments are in full swing. You're getting kind of to the end of them. Conference title games, semifinals. The Big Ten's always like the last conference to finish right before like the show too, which is kind of nice if you're a Big Ten fan. I guess you're kind of on the edge of your seat, seeing who's the Big Ten champion. And I know the American kind of has
Well,
they finish on Sunday too, so those are like the last couple. But a lot of the other power conferences have their title games today. The Big East tournament's been going on the Garden. I've been in like the city all week for work, so I've been kind of like right by that. I mean, just a lot of good stuff going on. I mean, I cannot wait for tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow, like the March Madness will be underway, but this weekend is is really where where things are at, I guess, in terms of you know in terms of basketball. I mean, it's this time of year everybody's watching the conference tournaments into March Madness. Like it really doesn't get better than this, and yeah, I'm just really excited. Like definitely a lot to talk about. What we're gonna, I guess, go conference by conference, at least the major conferences, and you go from there. But I mean, I guess just like any overall thoughts before we kind of take a deep dive.
um, well, first of all, I think we know why the Big Ten ends later than everybody else because I'm almost 99% sure they're the biggest conference with the most teams compared to everybody else. 18 teams, not a small conference. But in all
Right.
honesty, it really does look like this could be the Big Ten's year to finally break through and capture a national title in basketball. With
Too
too
many good
many good
teams this
teams, I feel like
year.
the SEC has taken a little bit of a pivot step back. So not a
Yeah,
full step, but a
essentially.
little,
A
little
little
negative
baby
step
step.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely a possibility there. We'll see. I mean, like, yeah, we'll definitely we'll see. About that. I mean, it could be the Big Ten's
No
year for
team has
sure.
truly blown no team has truly blown me away where I'm like, "Oh wow, this is the best team in the country by far," and it's not even a debate. There's no current field, I would say, but
Iffy, especially outside of Michigan State. Michigan looks like a real number one seed, like as good as anybody in the country. I know they lost to Duke, but that's probably like I mentioned last week. That's a team I'm rooting for. That's a team that could give Michigan problems, but Michigan can also give them problems. Like all the one seeds this year are very very good. I mean Duke, Michigan. Then you have Florida in the SEC. You have Arizona in the Big 12. I mean those are all very very legit teams. So I don't know. We could see a number of them. I doubt all four of them will make it. We might see two or three. And then looking elsewhere in the Big Ten. I mean it's kind of been a little bit of an upset party like in the quarters because Purdue beat Nebraska as the seventh seed. Not only beat them, they beat them like pretty handily yesterday. If you're watching that one, UCLA continued their run after being Rutgers. They knocked off Michigan State yesterday. So they're still alive in the semifinal. They're going to take on Purdue. Wisconsin has been like the upset, maker like we talked about last week. They beat Michigan already in the regular season. They play them again today. They've beaten I think Illinois twice now, including yesterday in overtime at the tournament. They I forget who else they beat, but they've beaten like multiple of the other like top teams in the conference as well. So I think they beat Michigan State, they beat Purdue. So I mean, yeah, they're like the giant killers, and because of that, they're also like moving up on the seed line. Right now they're a 6. They
I
maybe they become a 5. I don't know. We'll see. That's a sneaky team that could do a lot in March, the way that they could beat these top teams.
Wisconsin definitely embodies the spirit of March Madness because I believe that they have a win over some of the top teams in the conference. You said they pulled off the win versus Michigan, right? Um,
Yeah.
I think that they might. I'm not 100% certain, but I know Rutgers played them down to the wire. The same team that beat
Kinda, yeah.
Michigan barely beat Rutgers in a big comeback attempt. I believe they even lost to somebody like Northwestern or Oregon. I can't remember. Um, but yeah, Wisconsin definitely embodies the March mentality of just volatile play from a
Right,
from
right.
one team that goes up and down.
Yeah, no, they're very yeah, very volatile team because they've also had like I think some bad losses. Otherwise, with that kind of resume, they'd be a lot higher than a 6. So I mean, yeah, but they've beaten like the top teams in the country. Multiple of them. So you're looking at their schedule. I mean, well, they have a kind of a bad loss to BYU earlier, like in the non-conference. So I mean, there's that. But then they have a loss to TCU as well, and then Nebraska they got drubbed. They lost to Villanova, who's I guess one of the better teams in the Big East. But they lost to Purdue one time. They lost to UCLA. They lost to Indiana, Ohio State. So they have their losses sprinkled in Oregon, but then they have wins over, like they beat upset Michigan. They that yesterday they beat Illinois in the Big Ten tournament. They beat them at Illinois as well. So they have two wins over an Illinois team that was on the 2 line, has now fallen over to the 3 line. They beat Michigan State. So yeah, like they're really like the upset makers. Then they beat Purdue in the rematch at Mackey. So I mean, who knows? Wisconsin, I feel like it's a team that they've kind of been the 5 seed in the Big Ten tournament, and last couple years they made the title game. So I mean, we'll see if they can continue that trend and maybe win the thing. But I mean, I know Michigan's pretty good. I mean, they're on the 1 seed line. They're taking on Wisconsin today, and they obviously want to have a Big Ten tournament title. I mean, that's going to be a tough team to beat. They're 30-2. They're 19-1 in Big Ten play, but the one loss comes against Wisconsin. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like we'll see what
There's
we'll see
there's
what goes.
there's
Yeah,
2 ways that this is gonna go down. Michigan is gonna come out all pissed off and fired up to take down the one team that beat them, and either absolutely light up Wisconsin's world, or they're just gonna completely fall apart again.
yeah, literally. Yeah, I mean it's kind of like that, right? I mean, so. Oh yeah, I mean the other semifinal, like we have Purdue versus UCLA. So I mean Purdue just really dominant performance against Nebraska. They're knocking down threes, getting in the lane. So Nebraska was a team that was number 2 because they had such a stellar start and overall better record, and Purdue a little bit lower as a 7, but they definitely showed up. And UCLA over Michigan State at night too. I mean that was like kind of maybe not a big upset, but like at least somewhat of a mild upset. Michigan State, one of the top
I
teams
would say it's a
still.
little bit of like pulling back the curtain on Michigan State, though. I feel
Yeah, I
like
feel like they're
Michigan
a
State,
little fraudulent this year. You can say.
yeah, like they feel like they feel like the big bad wolf, but the second you actually like look at them, you realize that they're just like a small puppy or whatever.
Yeah, they're not really like. Yeah, I mean they're not really. I don't know. They're not really one of the best teams. I think like in this year. I mean, obviously you have a loss to Duke early, which is excusable, but then you have losses to like teams like Michigan and Minnesota, upset getting destroyed by Wisconsin, and then back to back losses to end the year. Michigan, UCLA, in the Big Ten tournament. They also barely escaped over Purdue, which I guess is a good win. They also barely
That's
escaped
a
over
good one.
Rutgers twice, like twice. So like I mean that was just they're like a head scratcher. But I feel like yeah, they're not exactly like like last year's team. They're not like probably a team that you're gonna expect to make a big run. They're probably gonna get through the games that they should win, but yeah, I don't really, I don't feel like this team's like going to be that great when the tournament starts because they've kind of been very volatile and they've been upset, whatever. Like, they haven't been exactly the same team. I think Michigan's like overtaken them in the Big Ten this year,
Oh,
which has been very
absolutely.
interesting. So, that's a team that I would trust in March, but Michigan State probably not so much this year. Although right now they're on the two seed line. Illinois is on the three line. So yeah, like you said, a lot of Big Ten teams still in this thing, and a lot of quality. Like usually Big Ten's like gets a lot of quantity, which they still do. They have 8 teams in the field, but it's like a lot of quantity numbers, and then they all fizzle out. But this year, I think a couple of them can make a deep run. I mean, Wisconsin probably can, Michigan, I'm sure can. Purdue, who knows? I mean, UCLA is a sneaky team. I mean, that's someone who can go somewhere. I mean, yeah, I mean, I think the Big Ten, Illinois, potentially as well. That's not a bad team. So I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm sure like somebody can make a run. I mean, there's just a lot of teams that are kind of ripe for the mix in the Big Ten this year.
Yeah, absolutely. With like I said before, the Big Ten just has too many good teams. I feel like this could be the Big Ten's year
It could be, yeah.
to uh to truly step out as like a because I feel like over the past couple of years the Big Ten has been exposed as like fraudulent. Michigan State always hyped up as like a great beast, hasn't really done anything.
Yeah.
Purdue always comes up short.
hmm
You know,
Yeah, except for I guess the one year they made the championship, but losing to
yeah,
UConn.
but
But
even then
yeah,
they still lost.
exactly,
You know,
exactly. Yeah, you're right.
like
Yeah.
everyone talked about like Zach Edey, and they talked about like him so much.
hmm
What is he doing in the pros now? Like I
I
don't hear
don't
his
even
name
hear
on
his
daily
name.
basis.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I love like when Purdue loses to like a 16 seed. It's like the funniest thing in the world. Like, 'cause that happens like multiple times, or like a really like low.
You know what I like? I like when Purdue loses on a buzzer beating 3-point half court shot.
Yeah, well, that's even better. But
Because
yeah, yeah,
Harper for the
hmm
win.
yeah.
Yes.
FDU, St. Peter's, yeah, they have like a thing like what the New Jersey schools like Rutgers beating them multiple times when they're ranked number one. So yeah, well this year Purdue like did a little bit of the upset making themselves because as a 7 seed knocking off the two in the Big Ten tournament. But I feel like I don't know. I mean, I feel like Nebraska might not. They might also be like a fraudulent team. Like I feel like Purdue really showed it to them that they're still the more serious Big Ten contender, even though they had like kind of a worse season, I guess, this year than as
Yeah,
a seven.
Nebraska is a little bit perplexing, so we'll have to see how they respond. But they could either completely flame out or make a good run in the
Yeah, they
NCAAs.
can get hot. We'll see. I guess just to keep this train rolling. I mean, a lot of other conferences to get to. One of the big stories from conference championship weekend is Ole Miss is still alive in the SEC. Somehow they're as the 15th seed. They just knocked off Alabama, the 2 seed in their conference last night. They're 2 wins away now from the championship or from a March Madness bid. Like we're getting shades of NC State. Um, yeah, and NC State from a couple years ago. So I mean, that's I don't know, that's very interesting. Like I haven't really followed too much, but I mean, 15C you're playing from the first day all the way up. I mean, like, yeah, the football team made a little nice run, and like the basketball team, they have Arkansas, Coach Cal's team today. But I mean, they've been kind of on upset minded lately. So I mean, against Alabama, they're winning most of the game too, and they're able to pull that one out. I don't really know if Florida, I know, has been winning in the SEC tournament.
Wait, am I
Um,
reading this right? Am I
wait,
am
what?
I am I reading this right? Old Miss is 4-14 in the
Mm,
SEC, and they've won the
yeah,
last three. Are you freaking kidding me?
yeah, they're getting hot at the right time. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're okay. You know what? Like getting hot is very different than like okay. It's different when a 13-5 team gets hot, but when a 4-14 team
I
gets
know
hot, that should
they're like
really mean
horrible.
nothing. But
They were horrible all year. Like I mean, like which is
yeah, but
weird.
a four
Um,
14 team gets hot, it should really mean nothing. Like if Oregon out of nowhere got hot and started playing their best basketball of the season, that should only like elevate them to maybe at best like a 9-9 level team. But
Maybe.
4-14 is crazy. And getting
Yeah.
hot and then rattling off wins over Alabama.
Uh,
who was the other one?
um,
Texas, which
Texas,
is
Alabama. Yeah.
that's
Texas. We're doing.
crazy to me.
Yeah, I'm missing one, but like Ole Miss. They beat Texas, Georgia, who I just saw is on the 8 line right now. And then Alabama. As that's a huge, huge, huge upset. I mean, that's the number 2 team in the
Yeah,
conference. And then Arkansas, I mean, that's another good one. But can they keep this going? Because I mean, like, that would be really, like again, it's like NC State, like coming from the 11th seed to, the March Madness, and then from that to the Final Four on top of that, like that was
that's
just
crazy. That's actually crazy. The fact that a team that should be dead in the water is doing what they're doing. That's insane to me.
yeah, no, that was just that yeah, the ACC, I mean, the NC State run was just absurd. Like, I mean, like, looking at that, like going from wherever they were. So like yeah, I mean, they're playing on opening night and they won 5 games in 5 days, and only once were like they the favorite. And I don't know, you know what I mean? Like they just kept going. They just kept going until I guess they finally, I think, lost to like I don't even know who like Purdue, I think, that year or something like that. But
That's like if Oregon or Maryland or Northwestern or any of those teams just ran the table. Like that's just insane.
yeah,
Like
right. I mean, like
I
from the first day of
that
whatever to
as it has been so affectionately called Pooper Tuesday.
yeah,
Um
well, Pooper Tuesday.
Hey, we
Yeah,
did not have to play on Pooper Tuesday
I
this year. I
know.
am
Yeah.
forever grateful about that.
Hey, and Rutgers won a Big Ten tournament game too. On top of
Yeah,
that,
what more
so
can you really ask for, really?
right?
Other than
Yeah,
a tournament bid would have been nice, but you know.
yeah. Another one would have been nice, but anyway, yeah. No, I mean SEC hoops going on. Like, I mean, Florida looks good. Taking on Vanderbilt in the other semi. So yeah, I mean, Vanderbilt's been another team that's kind of been on the up in football and basketball, I guess. So I think Florida's pretty good. I mean, Vanderbilt beat Tennessee. Tennessee's kind of been a good team usually that kind of runs into the wall. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely an interesting one over down south. Other than that, I mean, Big East has kind of been pretty fun. And we have a championship game between St. John's, who took down Seton Hall at the Garden yesterday. Connecticut knocked off Georgetown. I don't think either of them were super competitive, but kind of, sort of. I mean, like Seton Hall's kind of hanging around till late. Or made a late run, but yeah, it looks like Seton Hall's gonna be just outside the cut line. So, and I was kind of making this point yesterday, but like I was like, why is it so hard for these Jersey teams to get into the tournament? Like, like people say Seton Hall's like the better one. Like, and it's just like
Not
whichever.
even like Princeton. Not even Princeton
Yeah, Princeton's made it a
wins.
couple of times, like in the Ivy, right? I mean, yeah. Well,
Well, Princeton is actually traditionally a pretty good like mid-major men's
they are,
basketball
yeah.
team.
Women's too,
Um,
yeah. Yeah, the men's team has made it a couple of times in recent years. So Ivy League tournament's still going on. Penn versus Harvard is one semifinal. Cornell versus Yale's the other one. So they get one bid. I don't know. Yale's also been making March Madness recently, and they're the one. So we'll see if that continues. They were a sneaky team. They like beat Auburn in the tournament one year. Like so I mean they beat
talking
Baylor
about
like a
Yale.
little while ago. So yeah, that's a fun one. I mean we'll see if they get back. But Princeton, yeah, the Hall, Seton Hall. I mean like I don't know. It just feels like it was even with Rutgers and Seton Hall. It's like whichever team. Remember, it's like whichever team loses or wins that game has to work like like I don't know. What was it? Like
It's the
has a
worst
bad
season.
season or has the
Yeah.
worst season. Well, this year it wasn't really like that because Rutgers is just way worse. Seton Hall was a bit better, but I guess just not good enough. And I feel like that's a trend that's going to happen to both Seton Hall and Rutgers, where the team that has a better season is just slightly not good enough, so they can't make it to March Madness. And then the other
Well,
one is
first
just
of
like
all,
the better stuff.
if you were a Rutgers fan and you went into this season with March Madness expectations, you need to be put in a mental institution because,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, no, that's not great. I don't think any
you need a
any
straitjacket and to be put
any
into a
sane
mental
Rutgers fans
institution.
thinking March Madness. I thought the Hall would have a good chance, like the way that they were playing there, and they were making some noise in the beginning of the season, and
They were making some noise, and then it just fizzled out,
it fizzled out. Yeah.
which I
Oh
thought
well.
was crazy.
Yeah.
Princeton, Princeton went 5-9 in the Ivy League,
Ugh, that's not
so
good. Yeah.
that's ugly. And 3 of their wins came in their last 10 games, so they completely bottomed
Yeah.
out, especially for the beginning of the year. They only have 9 wins on the season, and 3 of them came in their last 10 games. So they pretty much, like I said, bottomed out and only beat um, Bucknell,
Mm.
John Jay. I don't even know what that is. Northeastern,
What on earth? Yeah.
Vermont, Penn. They beat Yale. They beat Brown.
Great.
But yeah, they beat teams that I've never even heard of.
Oh my goodness. Terrible. Yeah, so anyway, I mean, UConn St. John's definitely the two best teams in that conference. That
Oh,
should be
absolutely.
by a long shot. So that should be a good conference championship game.
See,
UConn blew them out the last time they played. They won 72-40. So I mean that's kind of wild, honestly. But I don't know. I mean the Johnnies won the other matchup though in New York at 81-72. So we'll
see, I
see what
don't know
happens
if I
this time.
should. It feels so weird to even like think about like, oh, going for UConn or hoping UConn wins because
No, I
like
hate UConn.
I don't
They
I
win them
can't
way too
really
much.
I can't get behind UConn.
Me
I don't even
neither.
know if I can get behind any of the other Big East schools
Me
because like
neither. I know it's weird because this is like the local conference, but being a Rutgers fan, I'm so entrenched in the Big Ten. Like being in the city, it's been so weird to think about the Big East, but all the schools are local, like Villanova and St. John's and the Hall and like UConn even kind of like a lot of people from New York, like Connecticut, like not a far drive. They play in the Garden all the time, so it's like yeah, I mean
yeah, like if I
it's
was gonna go
interesting.
for one of the teams that still has a chance at
Definitely
making
St.
it.
John's. Like I got no beef with them,
Oh
so
yeah, it would have been St. John's, but like first of all,
100%.
even if Seton Hall was still in the mix, like I understand I am a Jersey guy, but I am not rooting for Seton
Yeah,
Hall
fair
ever.
enough.
You know,
Me neither. Yeah,
um,
yeah.
you know
It's
what?
weird. Like there's like a small part of me that'll like yeah I can't do it with a rival, but like you know what I mean. There's a small part that obviously like wants a Jersey school to make it, but just not them.
Obviously,
Yeah.
but I actually did want to talk about something else. With New Jersey actually did almost have a rep in
Right.
March Madness. Monmouth came up
Monmouth.
just short in the CAA tournament
Yeah.
final, falling to Hofstra
Hofstra.
75-69.
Yeah, people are billing that the LIRR versus NJ Transit battle or like something like which kind of makes sense now that I think about it. But yeah, Hofstra getting in over them. That's unfortunate. Hofstra's the team
I,
that beat Rutgers, right? In the NIT or something like that, or
yes, they did. Hofstra beat
yeah, the
Rutgers in the
Prime.
NIT not too
Yeah,
long ago.
such a disappointing um
What
like
did the
finish to that
that
season.
you
But
could
anyway,
tell that like once they got to the playoffs, it
yeah,
was
they were
over.
they were they were they were they were
But
sorry.
anyway,
They were done. But
Monmouth actually had they actually weren't too great. They went 19-15, but they rattled off wins in the CAA tournament against Drexel and Campbell and all like schools like that, and were able to advance into were able to advance. But they also they played they don't have a lot of quality like wins, but they played Syracuse very tough.
yeah,
They actually took down Princeton, who I mentioned is usually not too bad of a mid-major team.
no, definitely not.
They played Georgia Tech well. that's not necessarily a great matchup, but you know if only they pulled off one more win. It would have been nice to have a jersey rep, just
Yeah, for
even for
sure.
anything. Like even if they're a 16 seed that has to fight
Exactly.
in the 14 play-in.
Yeah. Well, Long Island is right now on the 15 line. They already clinched in the NEC, so or Northeastern Conference. So that's like pretty close, I guess. Hofstra as well on the island. So a couple of teams over there. But yeah, St. John's is definitely going to be in the tournament. Connecticut, even though like I can't stand them, like
I might I
that's
might
not
have to
whatever.
I might
But
have to
yeah,
go for
close enough,
LI.
I
I might have
guess.
to go for LIU, but for some reason I just can't do teams in Manhattan. It's like, teams that play at Madison Square Garden, I just can't do it.
No, I don't know. I think if anything, I'll probably go for St. John's or like maybe Duke, like usual, I guess. Like that's, speaking of that, like the ACC is, I mean, Florida State almost beat Duke in their tournament. So like, I mean, that was kind of crazy, but yeah, I mean, they beat Clemson. Virginia's been a very good team in the ACC too, so that they play for the title today. Virginia's 29-4, 15-3 in conference, and Duke is 31-2, 17-1. One loss in the conference to UNC, one not loss in the non-con to Texas Tech. They beat a fellow number one in Michigan, 68-63 in DC. So, I mean, that's a team that I don't know. They're also a team that kind of fizzled out sometimes early in March or maybe later in March. Not early, but maybe this is a year for them to go all the way. I don't know. Like, well, that should be interesting to see. They have a lot of talent over there. They're I think gonna probably be the top overall seed if they hang on here and win the ACC tournament over Virginia. So yeah, I mean Duke I think looks really good this year. This might be a really good year if you like the Blue Devils, if you're a Blue Devils fan or whatnot. So I mean, it could be a good year for them for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I can't believe we haven't touched on this yet. Uh Miami, Ohio.
Yeah,
What
like this is a
happened?
big, big, big thing. Oh my goodness. I mean, like I cannot believe that they okay, so I mean, first of all, they should make the tournament no matter what. And I think like they will based on what I'm seeing. Like I don't think there's a real way they get left
I think
out.
they're gonna be one of those probably like 4
They might be
play-ins or
first four
whatever.
in. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like they're right on the bubble, but I'm seeing them on the 10 line, which is or no 11, but right now against Wisconsin, which could be a sneaky matchup. That's funny. It's like upset makers versus well, the thing with the Miami, Ohio is they have a very soft schedule, but they've won every game this season until they lost to UMass in the
Yeah.
in the MAC tournament, which is like the worst case scenario for them too, because that's like the one thing that they couldn't do. Like now they lost to like kind of a bad team in their conference, and now like everyone who wants to build a case against them, could
Did
just point to
did
that one
UMass
loss.
pull back the curtain, though? Did UMass pull back the curtain? What do you think?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it really matters though. Like because like when you have a resume like that, like it's like weird. Like, do the wins speak for themselves, or like
And
is
how
I
much
don't know.
how
Like,
much volume does the loss have?
it probably has a lot. Like, unfortunately, that's the thing. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't really like it for them because like now what? You know what I mean? They're like I think they're still gonna be fine though. Like I don't know. I can't imagine they don't get in. Like you know what I mean? Like,
But to do all that and to not even bring home a MAC title, that's like, oof.
yeah, dude, they have to make March Madness. Like, how can you like and say that that kind of a team would not? Like, I don't know. Like a 31-1 team. Are we serious right now? Like, I mean, also Akron's been very good this year too. Like, I mean,
Are we gonna get 2 MAC bids?
yeah, two Big Mac. I mean, I hope so. I mean, I hope so. Like, it would be insulting to the sport if we don't get Miami, Ohio in like to a 68 team tournament. Like, and yeah, 32 of those are conference champions. Like, but still, like this is where the argument gets weird because if it's I don't know. I was trying to like make this coherent and X, but like it's just confusing because it's like if you're gonna go with the best 68 teams and you wouldn't really have all those conference champions like in my opinion if you really
No,
just
you're
wanted to
right.
do it like football, you know what I mean, or like because these conferences are not the same. If you want to do most deserving, then sure. But like even then, there's still 36 at large bids like after the conference champions. Why can't a team like like Miami, Ohio, like a good mid major team? Maybe that's the problem. Like their strength of schedule is very weak. There are like the West Coast Conference gets a couple good mid majors, and if you're a really good mid major in a quality league, like they even might be like a 9, they might be a 5, like Memphis, like things like that happens. But for these other ones, like it's just
Well, to
like
be fair,
you know
there's a
what I
lot
mean.
of teams on here that I have never even heard of. Um,
Yeah.
like I'm on Miami of Ohio schedule right now. They beat Trinity Christian, um, University of Arkansas Pine Bluff,
Yeah,
um,
they beat 3 non D1s.
University of North Carolina Greensboro,
That one I've heard of. I think they've made the tournament before. But
The
yeah,
Indiana University East Red Wolves.
they beat Milligan. I don't know who that is. They beat IU East. Which that sounds like an NCAA FCS team, like IU East.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this doesn't really like help their case, to be honest with you. Like, I'm starting to see why like people like really don't want them to be in the tournament. Some people, other people really do want them to be in it. I think they deserve to be in it. Despite the one loss. I mean, like having an undefeated season. That Mac loss though, like against a number 8 UMass, like ooh, it's just like horrible timing. Like now, like it's out of their hands. Like what happens, but I don't know. I mean, when you start comparing them to like Auburn, who like I mean, it's just like what are we like doing? Like like Auburn like posted something about their strength of schedule being really good and like all these things. Like just like yeah, they don't deserve to be in the tournament. Like it's like
Oh,
ridiculous. Like,
that's such an Auburn thing to do.
yeah, that's such a SEC thing to do.
That is such an SEC thing to do.
Yeah,
Like that is such an
no,
Auburn
like they literally
SEC.
they lost in the SEC tournament to like Tennessee in the quarters, a number 25, and now they're
You
17 and
lost. Take it on the
16,
chin. Like just shut up.
right? And like so their post is their post says never ran from a fight, but they lost like 16 of them, like you know what I mean? So it's just oh yeah. I mean, number 3 strength of schedule, number 2 most quad 1 games in the nation. Top win in the country over Florida, which I guess that's fair. That's a good win. But like they finished tied for 38th for number of wins against quad 1 teams. Like you can't just like build you know what I mean? Like it's just like you can't just like build a resume off the court to get in like to a turn. Like what? Like this doesn't even make any sense. Like I mean, I don't understand. Like I think college football is kind of ruined like gotten into this discourse on college basketball and kind of messed everything up because like
But even in college football, they still have like the conference champs get in.
yeah
So
that's
what's the
that's true they have the
problem?
G like I feel like Miami well now they didn't even win their conference tournament so like they kind of messed it up but I feel like in college football like Miami Ohio would probably get in as the G5 rep like or maybe not this year but like damn like that argument fell through like I had such a good argument I was like in college football, even Miami, Ohio would get in as the G5 rep, and I was like, well, I guess they wouldn't because they're not the conference champion, but in theory, like they would, get into the 12 team field, and if they could do that and not get into the 68 team field in college basketball, which is way less like resume heavy than football or big brand heavy than football, and if they would have a better chance of getting into the football thing, like I don't really know why they can't get into a basketball thing, which is literally a elimination tournament. Like they could get in and be done and nobody would care. You know what I mean? Or they could make a run. Like I don't know. Like it would just be a travesty if they didn't get in. Like I'm very strong. I have very strong feelings about this, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. So I mean, who knows? Who knows what? But like I mean, I think they will be in based on the bracketology. It's pointing in the right direction for them. So but the bracketology isn't the selection committee, so like that's yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, we have seen snubs before, like like the year that people like when Rutgers got snubbed, everybody was like shocked, but like not like
Yeah,
that.
because we knocked off the number one team that year. We
Yeah,
beat the number one, and
I
we still
know. But
didn't get
we
in.
didn't even have a bracket busting. We had like one like Q3 loss to
No,
Minnesota.
we had a lot that lost to Minnesota. That broke it.
I know. Yeah, I guess, but like It's like, why is it so hard? Like, I don't really again, like, why is it so
I feel
hard?
like we
Like,
should move on from basketball just because we're gonna keep getting stuck in the same. Why is it so hard for
why is
Jersey
it so hard
teams
to
to
make a
make it
68
in?
team tournament, like, for a power school? So now the mid majors are getting screwed, and the power schools are getting screwed unless you're like a really good one too. Like, I mean, like, what's going on here? Like,
No, unless
there's
you're our traditional basketball power, like Duke and
yeah,
Michigan State.
I
Who
guess because
cares?
even the fucking like Seton Hall like hasn't gotten in like years, and like everyone's like, oh, they're a basketball school. Well, I mean, like, I guess, but like, like even for them, it's like pretty damn hard in a good year to make the tournament. So anyway, moving forward, it is what it is. The World Baseball Classic. This has been a fun thing as well. I mean, the United States, they lost to Italy. They were on the rocks too, in terms of making the next round, but Italy beat Mexico, so they were able to get into the quarters. And yesterday, the United States beat Canada 5-3, in the quarterfinals in Houston. There was like one play in from this game where Canada had a throwing error, and then it brought in Bryce Harper and Aaron Judge. I know the pitching was really good. Chuck Bednar got the U.S. out of a jam, or can yeah, U.S. out of a jam, and basically I think ended that one for them on the mound. So like yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't really get to see too much of this because of all the basketball and going out and stuff like that. But I don't know. What were your takeaways from that game and kind of how the United States has been doing so far in this tournament?
Well, first of all, that loss to Italy was stunning for the United States.
Yeah,
Like that was like what?
like what
But
are we
anyway,
doing? Yeah, that was
Canada.
shocking.
I didn't get to watch the game, but all I know is that Canada, that's 3 in the
That's
past month.
three.
Okay.
Yeah, we beat them in their game. We beat in women's hockey, men's hockey, and now in baseball, which is I guess our terrain. So I mean, I feel like Canada wasn't expected to be as good as in base. You know what I mean? They weren't like supposed to be as competitive in this one. But the U.S. has also been underperforming. I think in this classic. I mean, they've lost already to Italy. They were in kind of a fight here as well, but good start by Logan Webb. And then yeah, RBIs by um, Schwarber, Bregman, a bunch of other players. Obviously, the hit that ended up driving them in as well. So they're able to do enough to get the W. And I mean, I think at the end of the day, that's what matters in this tournament. It's survive and advance. Just like kind of just like March Madness, I guess that we're talking about. But yeah, like I mean, oh no, it's been interesting for sure. It's been a roller coaster of a ride. But yeah.
Yeah, I'll be
Mhm.
honest with you, I haven't watched, as much as of the World Baseball Classic as I've, wanted to, but it's very interesting in the sense that, you know, especially for the US to go out and lose to a team like Italy, that's was almost
I know
unheard
it's
of.
shocking, right? Like I don't even know if they have like that many like major leaguers like on their team. Like, I was seeing that all the um the US guys are from, or the Italy guys are born in the US and stuff like that or something like that. But
Really?
Um, yeah, they're probably like have Italian citizenship or something, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're all like born in the US or stuff like that. But still though, like it's a big shocking loss. But I'm glad they bounced back. They beat Canada. That's yeah, third win over them in a month, and it's really nice. But I don't know. I feel a little worried because the Dominican Republic just beat South Korea 10-0. Hit a homer to end it. I mean, that's a nasty team that the DR has this year. So I mean, I feel like it might be a tough one for the United States in the semis over there. On the other side, you have Puerto Rico versus Italy, and you have Colombia versus Japan. That should be interesting. Maybe Italy wins that one. I mean, Japan, I think is gonna probably win because they have, I mean, Shohei Ohtani, they have Yamamoto, they have a whole lot of guys over there that could do some damage as well. Roki Sasaki. So like, yeah, I mean, Japan is one of the top teams, but obviously, but U.S. versus DR, I think is gonna be pretty. It's gonna be pretty crazy because so they're gonna put Paul Skeens on the mound for that one, which is pretty exciting. I mean,
Uh-oh.
yeah. So
Polsky's going up to the mound is that's like, uh-oh.
yeah, people are really excited for this game because I mean, um, the DR has like a really good like hitting lineup too. Like people are this is it's gonna be very exciting. So both teams, um, U.S. only has one title and Dominican Republic has one title too. So um, I mean, yeah. So Skeens is going to be tasked to slow that very loaded lineup for the Dominican Republic. They have Juan Soto, Julio Rodriguez, Fernando Tatis Jr., Vlad Guerrero, Manny Machado, Ketel Marte, and Junior Caminero, Christopher Sanchez, Geraldo Perdomo. I've heard of like I think 7 of those 9 guys are like MLB like all stars or better, and obviously, the U.S. has a very good squad too. I mean, they have Aaron Judge, they have Bryce Harper, they have Paul Skeens, they have Kyle Raleigh, Bobby Witt. I mean, the pitching has been like outstanding. Kyle Schwarber's on this team. I mean, so it's going to be a very good team. But the U.S. has kind of been struggling a little bit. The Dominican Republic team has outscored its pool play opponents 41-10, and then knocked off Korea 10-0 in a run rule victory. So I mean, they've just been hitting bombs, and yeah, and then on the mound they have Luis Severino, who's allowed a run on 3 hits with 5 strikeouts against the Netherlands. So yeah, pitching not too bad either, obviously, but I mean like their hitting has been like insane. So I don't know. I mean yeah, US has been a pretty decent team as well. So it should be a really good game. I mean, I'm really excited about this. This one's on it's tomorrow at 8 p.m. Definitely recommend watching that. Probably it's after the selection show cools down. That would be something, you maybe fill out your brackets or whatnot. Like that would be a good thing to do if you get the chance. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like it should be very exciting to see, the U.S. versus the Dominican Republic because these two teams are both like very very good.
It's a perfect activity to do during your St. Patrick's Day party.
Yeah, definitely that. You should do that, or like after you fill out your first bracket for March Madness. I guess if you're like the type to do it like right away after they come out on Sunday. But anyway, other than that, I mean, going over to the NBA, it's been kind of a crazy week because Bam Adebayo dropped the second most points ever in NBA history with
Yeah,
83
who
points
had that on their bingo card? Like,
against the Washington Wizards.
now see
Yeah, and I
that I
don't know.
would that I could see somebody dropping the second most points in a singular game on the Washington Wizards. Yes, I can see that. Having it be Bam Adebayo, who had that on their bingo card?
Right? I mean, yeah, like that's hilarious. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, who would have thought that yeah, he would get that. I mean, and some people are saying like it was like a fake whatever. I don't think so. I watched the highlights of that. Like he was getting buckets like, for most of the game, like, so I mean, he had 31 points after the first quarter, which is ridiculous. He was dunking, he was knocking down a lot of threes. He had 43 points, his career high at the half.
Yeah, who
And
said it was fraudulent? Like what?
60, I don't know, a lot of people, but like 60 points after 3 quarters. And then the free throws started, sure. And like he made a bunch of them. He went to the line a lot. And like, they kept him in and he was going for it, obviously, like, at that point. But like, I mean, you have 60 points in 3 quarters, like I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, why would he not go for it? Like, like it just yeah, like I don't know, man. Like, I mean, it's just yeah, he didn't get a double team from Washington until they're up by 70 points. So I mean, like yeah, no, they just I mean, I could definitely see it against the Wizards, but like at the same time, like I mean, yeah. But then the funniest thing was like then he went from 83 to 21 points against the Bucks, and he went 6 for 20 from the field. Yeah, 0 for 5 from 3 point range, and I guess he was probably tired. It was just like he had like super high and then super like
Well,
21 isn't bad though. That's like not
20 points
bad
is
at
not
all.
bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. And I remember the Bucks even tweeted what they were like, Bam didn't score 81, and then they were like, we didn't need to, or he didn't need to because they won anyway against Milwaukee. So like, no, that shit was like hilarious. But I mean, that's just crazy. Like, I mean, 83 points, like, ahead of Kobe Bryant's 81. I mean, like, well, I don't know. People are saying like whatever.
Will Chamberlain's record ever be broken though?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think so. But if someone like Bam Adebayo could get 83, like why can't like Steph Curry or like a real scorer like get that like 100? Like it's definitely possible. But like I don't know. You know what I mean? Plus,
Yeah.
especially with foul baiting and stuff like that, you can go to the free throw line like 50 times and like you know what I mean? So it's possible. It is possible, but I don't know. It's like I'm reading an article about how Bam Adebayo does not belong above Kobe Bryant, and it's never
Yes, he
been
does.
easier to score in the NBA. Blah blah blah, this and that. I mean, I guess I don't know. Like it's just
You
like
want to know how I know
whatever.
that Bam deserves to be above Kobe? You want to know how I know? Because Bam scored 83 in the game, Kobe scored 81. That's how I know he deserves to
Right.
be
I mean,
there.
it's really
I
like
mean,
not that it's not that hard. And again, like he wasn't like yeah, you know what I mean? And he wasn't like shamelessly foul baiting either, you know what I mean? Like SGA. No, I don't know. He's actually like more I think ethical than people give him credit for, but yeah, he's not like he wasn't doing that. Like he actually got fouled on his 43 free throws. Like he's a guy who drives to the rim and like you know what I mean? So like attacking the basket so I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously they're gonna call touch fouls, but for a guy like that, like going to the rim, they foul him. Like he made I think 36 out of his 43 free throws, and I mean he also made a lot of shots at the rim, and he made some threes. Like I don't blame him. Like yeah. I mean I think it was a very real 83 points. So just something like however you got it, like it's just stunning to see that like again, like I didn't especially from someone like Bam, where you really didn't yeah, you know what I mean? Like you really wouldn't expect that coming from him on top of that. So yeah, no, it's just
no,
it's just
absolutely not. Absolutely not. First of all, get that imposter me out of here. Um,
yeah, I
but
don't
you
know where
really,
that came from, but
yeah, you don't like, to be fair, like, yes, it is unexpected that it came out of a guy like Bam, but it's also, you know, it's also like I can't stand the argument of like, oh, he doesn't belong above this guy, but he beat his record. You
right.
know,
Yeah, obviously like
you know how I know that Bam deserves to be above Kobe is that Bam put up 83 points in a game and Kobe put up 81. I
right.
don't
That
care
doesn't mean
about
he's
like
a better
different
player than
leagues and
Kobe. Like
whatever,
nobody's saying that. But it's just like this asterisk thing. Like I mean, like what are we doing? It's like okay, like Miami, Ohio doesn't deserve to be like you know what I mean? Like I mean, like in the tournament, and Bam Adebayo's 83 points doesn't count. Like I mean, like why like the sports is supposed to be fun, like it's supposed to be entertainment, like there's a reason like so many people follow this stuff. It's not to like get all technical and like shit on everything. Like I mean like it's let's enjoy it for like what it's worth. Like I mean like
Exactly. No,
like I
you're
mean come on
100%
like
right there.
yeah, like I
You
mean,
are
yeah, and it's not
100%
even
right.
like he cheated his way to 83 points. Like, like you know what I mean? Like he was actually getting fouled. He was actually like, shooting. Like, yeah, they kept him in the game, like whatever. Like, I mean, like I mean, he had 70 through three quarters. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, maybe with Kobe, like I get what people are saying. Like, he was probably getting more like real buckets and stuff like that. Like, like more of a scorer, like all of that good stuff. But 83 points, 83 points. Like, and it wasn't a fake 83 points. So like, I mean, yeah, I mean that's pretty much what I'm gonna like leave that at over there. But at the same point, in time, I mean, Luke also scored 51 the other night in his return, which now doesn't even seem like that much. But like um
Who
yeah,
cares?
so yeah, it's just like yeah, it's not a lot, but yeah, highest scoring game over with the Lakers. Yeah, I mean, it's just like I don't know, some team stuff, like not, and like I guess if we're gonna go away from the individual like milestone stuff, I mean, playoff berths are starting to be clinched in the NBA already. So I mean, I guess we're getting to that time of year. Like Pistons have the one berth of the East. Celtics and the Knicks are like neck and neck for 2 and 3 right now. It's kind of the same as last week. I think the Pistons are going to be really tough out in the Eastern Conference, though. But the funniest thing was the Nets beat them last Sunday or Saturday, actually, and they were down by 22. So I don't know like what happened there. But the Pistons done beat them by 38 in Brooklyn a few
Oh
days
yeah.
later. So like that was like probably Nets fans probably were more happy with the second one because we're tanking. So like than the first one. But like yeah, no, I mean like Detroit's very good. Boston and the Knicks are also very good. It's gonna be a fun playoffs. Like it's gonna be a fun playoffs because of all that. But the Western Conference, I think, it's gonna be even more fun because the Thunder are on the 7 game win streak, and the Spurs are like right behind them in second. Those are gonna be the top two teams in the West, and I'm very excited to see how that exactly goes down because I mean I think the Spurs have a team as talented. Like I mean they have like Castle and Fox and Harper and Wembenyama. I mean a freak of nature, and I don't know. I mean I think it's gonna be very good. It's going to be a very good Western Conference playoffs. I mean, you have the Rockets with Kevin Durant. You know what I mean? And Shengu, they have a very loaded squad. You have the Los Angeles Lakers kind of heating up now. You love LeBron and Luca. Let's see what kind of push they can make. You have the Denver Nuggets, with Aaron Gordon and Cam Johnson, and of course Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray and the Wolves. I mean, I don't know. The Western Conference is kind of like probably gonna. I don't know if they're like the better one of the two, but they definitely look like the better
The Western
conference of the two.
Conference,
Yeah,
they're 100 times better than the
that's
East.
true. Yeah, it's
First of
always like
all,
the thing. Like when I was growing up, it was like the Eastern Conference, like the last two. You know what I mean? Like 8 seed could get in and like 38 wins, like more losses than wins. They're in the playoffs,
oh
like
yeah.
38 and like 44 or something
First of
like
all,
that.
first
The West, you're a 48 win team and you're missing the playoffs. Like it was that competitive. Like the 8 line, you know what I mean? You'd miss it if you're like 47, 48 wins and you need 50. And so the West, top down was probably like a better conference. Then the East kind of overtook that mantle for a couple years, I feel like. But I think now we're kind of back to the West being the better one again.
oh well, for at least for this season, because first of all you have to do is look at who the bottom four teams in the NBA are. Three of them are in the East: the
In the
Nets, the
East,
Wizards,
yeah.
and the Pacers. You know,
Yeah.
um,
The worst one, is it the worst one or no, not anymore, I guess. But yeah, the Kings were like a little while below them. But yeah, you're right. For even the bottom, I mean, three of the bottom teams are in the Eastern Conference, and one's in the West. But I mean, looking at like the top teams too. I mean, yeah, Detroit's very good, but other than that, like even they're not as good as the top teams in the Western
are you
Conference.
going to seriously sit here and tell me that Detroit stands up to Oklahoma City? No.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, as good as the Pistons are, like they're just not. Although they did beat them like once in the regular season. I don't know if they beat them twice, but I have to check on that. But yeah, no, I don't think they're as good as the Thunder are. But yeah, I mean, they're the best team in the East, and with Jason Tatum coming back for Boston, I think that could be interesting. And then the Knicks, I mean, like it's I don't know, it's go time and for them in the city, it's a very open chance for them. But with those three, I mean, like they're pretty good. But the Western Conference, I think Thunder and Spurs are like ahead of everybody. First of all, I mean, they're like juggernauts. Then even teams like the Rockets and the Lakers, like teams like that, I think could be like pretty good as well. So yeah, I mean, I think we have a pretty full field right now, and we still have a month left. So these records are probably going to balloon like a bit. We're probably going to have like the usual 48 win teams kind of being in, and then the top two teams being in like the 50s and 60s, and in the East we're probably going to have a couple 50 win teams. Maybe like the Pistons have like 57, and then after that, like none of these teams are like like the Magic, the Heat, like they're kind of on win streaks, but these teams, I don't know, like what I mean, like the Raptors are doing surprisingly decently. The Hawks, like none of these teams are like really trustworthy. The Cavs are like not bad either. I guess that's a team that maybe could do something, but I don't know. Yeah, I think you're
Yeah,
definitely
but I
right about
trust the
those.
Lakers a lot more than I trust the Cavs, just to
Yeah,
compare
the Cavs
four
are like
seeds.
a team that flames out in the playoffs every year too, so I don't really have much faith in them honestly right now. Even though I'd like kind of like them to like make a little run with like Donovan Mitchell and guys like that, but it's just it's never really worked out. But I don't know, it's a weird year like for the East. I mean, not really, but like I mean, the Pistons are like the team to beat actually, and then can the Celtics make another run? Now that Jason Tatum's healthy, with Brown, and can the Knicks, I guess, take the next step like the Pacers can kind of like make it a step further this year, like
Yeah,
kind of like Indiana did last year.
now that the big bad boogeyman known as Tyrese Halliburton is no longer there, maybe the Knicks can actually
Right.
do something this time.
Maybe because I feel like they kind of like did what the Pacers did. Like the Pacers beat Boston or lost to Boston. They were like basically close, and then the next year they kind of put over the top. Then last year the Knicks kind of had that fire, and they also beat Boston, and they beat someone else too, right? And then they lost in the conference finals obviously to Indy, and they were like right there. So now like can they take that next step? I guess, but they, what I mean. But the problem is the Pistons are like better this year. I mean, the Celtics, I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think the Knicks could probably beat the Celtics again in the series. I don't know if they could beat Detroit in a series this year. It's kind of like might be a little bit of a roadblock for them, but I don't know. It's anyone's East out of those three. I think so. I mean, it should be, but the Pistons beat the Knicks like multiple times. They swept the series and they won pretty convincingly. So that's kind of the thing there. But we'll see what happens. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think
Yeah,
anybody's beaten the Thunder in the West besides maybe
the
San
Spurs have
Antonio.
beaten them a few times actually.
San
I think
Antonio might, but I don't
three
think
out of
anybody's
four.
really
Yeah, maybe
close to
maybe the Spurs. I don't know if they will or not, but that is going to be like, oh my god! Like if we get Thunder Spurs as like the Western Conference Finals, that's going to be like absolute cinema, like for
that. It's
like the
good. Yeah,
playoff.
that'll be peak.
Basically the de facto like NBA championship series. Like you know how it was like the Warriors Rockets was like the real finals, like those times. Like it's gonna be like that again, maybe even more so because I think the Rockets were a little fraudulent. Like as good as they were, maybe not, but like these two teams like even better. Like yeah, like these two teams are like absolute. It was basically like the Warriors Rockets series that. But we'll see. I mean, a very good team and an even better one. We'll see if that happens again. But I don't know. The Spurs have kind of had OKC's number. They beat them three times early in the year. And then I think the Thunder beat them. They beat them in San Antonio. They beat them in Oklahoma City. They beat them in the NBA Cup. So I mean, like that's the one team I think that can beat the Thunder. In a 7-game series, but we'll have to see for sure. I mean, nobody knows. Like, that's the fun of playoff basketball. Obviously, that could be a deep series. But yeah, no, I mean, I love this time of year, I really do. But one more sport, I guess, that we should get to before we log off is the NHL, which is also kind of in the same boat of like postseason push as the NBA right now, about 1 month out. I don't know, like what can you like tell us about where we are at, like compared to like last week? Because has anything really updated with the standings that much, or like not really?
Well, first of all, it's a little bit of what do you want to talk about? Because the Buffalo Sabres have
Yeah, they look
taken
really
first
good.
place in the Atlantic off of an 8 and
Hmm.
2 last 10
Wow.
games, uh, taking the spot of Tampa Bay and
Tampa, yeah.
Montreal. Um, Now the
That's
Sabres,
insane.
Tampa Bay and Montreal do have 2 games in hand on the Sabres, who are only 1 game
Yeah.
ahead. So keep that in mind. But man, the Sabres in first place in the Atlantic. Who would have thought, really? Like at all. Um, Now
Yeah.
to kind of um, go down to the Metropolitan wild card playoff race. Um, Obviously, I have my biases,
Mm.
but with that playoff race right now, the Blue Jackets have cut it down to a 1 game lead for the Islanders. The Islanders only have a 1 game lead, but the Blue
Yeah.
Jackets have 1 game in hand. And on top of that, the Bruins for that second wild card spot are 1 game back of the Islanders and are only 1 point back. So, going to be very interesting. That's going to be intense down the stretch. Just looking at the Islanders' schedule against the Blue Jackets and none against the Bruins. But taking a look at the Bruins' schedule, just to find out real quick, they have 2 remaining games versus the Blue Jackets. So that's going to be a fight. No matter how you slice it, the Blue Jackets play
Right.
the Islanders and the Bruins a total of 3 times. The Islanders and the Bruins do not play each other for the rest of the season, but it's gonna be interesting because especially if the Blue Jackets like win that game and close that gap, who knows what can happen. The
Right. Yeah.
Islanders
No,
do
I agree
get
with that.
a little bit of a favorable, I guess, upcoming uh a favorable upcoming schedule. They play the Flames, who are at the bottom of the Western Conference. They
Mm.
play Toronto at the bottom of the Eastern Conference, and they play the Senators, who are not too good, but not horrible either. They're still kind of in the hunt, but they're not really, anything serious.
Right. Yeah.
But they then have Montreal and then um, Columbus. So those two teams right there. If I'm an Islanders fan, I am circling, dotting, highlighting, uh, whatever have you. Really, I mean, those are the two games on the schedule that I have as highlighted as I could. But if there's one more game to highlight in the schedule, it's the upcoming game against the Penguins at home, and the
Yeah.
Islanders are tied with the Penguins in terms of points, but the Penguins do have a game in hand. That's why the Penguins are above the Islanders. However, over the past 10 games, the Penguins are 4-3-3, while the Islanders are 7-3. So,
Hmm. Yeah, I see that. Yeah. Four, three,
so
and
it's
three, and 7-3.
those four teams. It's going to be an absolute dogfight for the rest of the playoffs. Even Detroit can see themselves mix into that picture as well. Detroit has upcoming games against the Bruins, Penguins, um, Blue Jackets. So everybody in that little bubble seems to play each other.
Hmm.
There's going to be a lot of moving over the next 2 weeks. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
And I hope it's moving in the right direction. But
Yeah, no, yeah, I see that with the Metro. Like it's very competitive. Jackets are right there behind the Islanders. The Penguins are, yeah, I mean,
the Islanders and the Penguins are tied, except
they're
for the Penguins
tied.
have a game in
Yeah, they're
hand.
tied right now, so it's very neck and neck and the 2 and 3 will play each other in a playoff series either way. So it's just a matter of home ice at that point if those two are the two. But the Jackets are one, are behind knocking on that door right now in the wild card. Are they? I think they are, or maybe not because they're also a point behind Boston right now, who's at
Right,
78. So
but you got to think the Blue Jackets are 2 points behind the Islanders and have a game in hand on them.
right, yeah, so that's very gettable. And like you said,
They're
these teams
two.
all
They're
play
also
each
two
other.
points behind. They're also 2 points behind Detroit and have a game in hand on them as well.
So that could be some movement there. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how all this goes down. I mean, I think we kind of know who our field is. Obviously, it looks like I don't know. Looks like the Flyers and Caps are a bit behind from there, although they still have a chance. The Devils and Rangers are both like way out of it. The Panthers and Maple Leafs are kind of like way out of it. Speaking of the Atlantic, I mean, the Sabres Lightning had a really good, crazy game the other day on like last Sunday. Buffalo winning 8-7 in kind of just a back and forth game when Sabres had the last goal, I guess. But I mean that was very exciting and like 8-7 is like a very unusually high scoring for ice hockey nowadays. And I just
There's
thought that was like something to
there's a
take a
very
note of.
popular hockey meme page ran by a Canucks fan that I
Oh
think it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
called
yeah. I think I follow
Canucks
them.
memes or whatever it is. But
Yeah.
he posted about this game and he made the title, "Holy, someone make a save!"
Yeah, no saves. But when you think about like like NHL, like Sabres is kind of like a team that they hardly ever make the playoffs, and even if they do, like they're like an exit. So to see
Oh
them at
yeah.
the top of the
I don't think they
division,
have.
like
I don't think they made the playoffs since like 2013 or something
yeah,
ridiculous.
they're kind of like the Washington Wizards or like like of the NHL or like one of those teams that you just like you kind of just assume oh they suck like they're not a threat. So but this year it's like flip like now you have teams like the Panthers and Leafs at the bottom and teams like the
You know
Sabres at the
something?
top.
Like with this playoffs, I have no idea who's coming out of the East.
Yeah,
Like
I have no. It's like very. I mean, maybe Carolina, like the way like they have an
if
opportunity.
Carolina, this is the year for Carolina to break through. I just don't know if they ever will because they're
Mm,
Carolina and they're
I
the
kind of
regular
hope
season
they.
warrior.
I kind of hope they don't, but like, but yeah,
Wouldn't
no.
it be so funny? But like, doesn't it seem like after that, like the Sabres, Lightning, Canadians,
Yeah,
Penguins, Islanders, and doesn't it seem like any of them can make it if they get hot at the right time? Like there's nobody
maybe.
else.
I think so.
Like the Avalanche seem like they're just going to steamroll everybody besides maybe Dallas, who looks pretty good this year. But
Right,
the East is like whoever makes it. The East is going to
right.
be fun playoffs. Like if the time to watch hockey, the time is now to watch hockey because the East is going to be a little bit of a fight. Um, I do want to get to some other storylines in the West, though. I know we're a little bit over time here, but
Yeah.
uh, the Blues are 7-2-1 in the last 10. Could be gearing up for the playoff push. They are 3 games back with one in hand of the second wild card spot, so keep an eye on that. The Rangers are in the midst of messing up their tank as they've won 4 of the last 5 games.
Uh-huh.
And Anaheim, who would have thought?
Right.
Anaheim,
Yeah.
in the at the top of the Pacific, leading the Golden Knights, the Edmonton Oilers, like with 2 games in hand, mind you. You know they have games in
Mm-hmm.
hand against the Golden Knights and the Oilers, and they are ahead in points. So, yeah, again, who would have thought? And look at Utah go. Look at the Mammoth, the first year in the league.
Right.
The
Yeah. They're
punch the ticket to the
in a
playoffs.
playoff spot, right? Even though they're on a 3-game losing skid, yeah, good for them. Like, I mean,
Yeah, but they're also several games ahead too. So they could lose. They could realistically they could drop a couple. They could drop
yeah,
3 more games and still be tied for the wild card spot. So they're sitting
right.
pretty, in my
Yeah,
opinion. They're sitting pretty. They could drop 3 games in a row and still be tied.
yeah.
So kudos to
No,
them.
yeah,
Good
no, I
season in
get
the
that.
league. They
Yeah,
weren't
first
they
year.
weren't born with the silver spoon that Vegas was born with.
Right, yeah, making it to the cup final in the first year, which is
Well,
just
that
absolute.
that whole expansion team draft was just
Yeah,
incredible.
that's true. They got blessed for sure, but
Yeah, they got
yeah,
this
they've
Marc-Andre Fleury, like, wow.
yeah. But in the Western Conference, I mean, yeah, I mean, like obviously Colorado looks really good, but like Dallas looks pretty good too. I think those are probably going to be two teams that could make a deep run this year. Maybe Minnesota too, but I think Colorado and Dallas, like probably because like that division is like leaps and bounds like better and ahead of like the other one, like especially at the top. So I mean, but we'll see. I mean, in the Pacific, I mean Anaheim, like you said, like who would have thought Vegas and Edmonton are always kind of like seem like in the mix. Like, well, so maybe who knows? Like, could this be a good year for the Oilers, or the Golden Knights to kind of make it back to the big stage? Like, I don't know, but we'll see. I feel like the Central teams like are gonna have something to say about that because they're like over 20 points better than the Pacific teams, which is like quite a differential, obviously. But so yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. So I mean, those well, yeah, maybe there'll be like Av Stars in the West and the East. Who knows? Like in the East, it could be Hurricane Sabres, could be Tampa Bay. Like I think that's a team that has experience. That if they get hot at the right time, that could be a team that could make it. Montreal maybe like it could be one of the Metro teams. Like who really knows what? Honestly, but
I
could
swear
be, yeah,
I swear to God, if it is Tampa Bay, Islanders
Oh my
in the
god.
Eastern Conference Final and we
Yeah.
lose again, I'm gonna throw something.
Yeah, dude, that would suck. Yeah. I feel like it could be a good year for the Lightning because they're like the one team in this bunch that kind of has that
Actually,
proven
the Lightning are
championship
only
pedigree.
4-6 in their last 10.
Interesting. Yeah, like I feel like they're the team that it's in this mix that has the best like, combination of like, like good this season and like has that championship playoff like pedigree, and like you said, Carolina as well, kind of peaking, and maybe this is a good year for them to take advantage. And I don't know, we'll see what happens with Buffalo. Like they look really hot, so it's yeah, it's a good landscape, for sure. I mean, I think a lot of exciting things could definitely happen from
Well,
in this year's playoffs. It looks like it's very wide open compared to the years of the past on both sides, East and West.
Buffalo 8-2 in their
Yeah,
last 10. As I mentioned before, Tampa Bay 4-6. Uh, Montreal 6-1-3. Uh,
6-1-3.
Carolina 7-3 in their last 10. Pittsburgh 4-3-3 in their last 10, and New York 7-3 in their last 10. So it feels like
Yeah,
most like two. It feels like 4 out of the 6 teams in this bracket here are peaking at the right time.
yeah, yeah. No, 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 you're right. You're right. You're right. So, yeah. I mean, I guess on that note, I think that pretty much covers everything. And I know we're a little bit over time, but definitely a good look at the NBA, NHL, obviously the World Baseball Classic, and March Madness selection Sundays tomorrow. A lot of conference tournament action still to come. So, with that being said, enjoy the
Let the
day.
madness begin.
Let the madness
Let the
begin.
madness begin.
Yeah, let's go. Enjoy the day and the weekend of basketball and the weeks to come because this is one of the most glorious times in sports. So yeah, I mean, I mean, I think I'll leave on that. Vibes are always high on Sports Vibe, and we will see you next week.